graduates or a teacher or staff member leaves Gaston County Schools, they lose access to everything in their Google account. This can be very traumatic as we all have things that we want to keep. So for example, if in my Google Drive I have a folder here, and I have some files that I really want to keep, some Google Docs and spreadsheets and slideshows and some other things, I need to take some steps to make sure these things are saved in a way that I can keep them after I leave. So what you're going to want to do there is go to takeout.google.com. And that looks a lot like this. Google Takeout is a service that Google runs that allows you to export a copy of your content from your Google account. To start with, you're going to want to deselect all. That's because this doesn't just show Google Drive. This shows Blogger, this shows Arts and Culture, this shows Calendar, bookmarks in Chrome. There are a lot of different things, and you can check them all, but chances are you don't want to bring all this stuff out. You just want to go through and pick what you do want. And for most people, that's going to mainly involve their Google Drive. Now, if I check the Drive box, that's going to get everything in my Google Drive, which is a lot, and that may be what you want, and if that's the case, that's great. But I do want to show you this. If you want to just pick certain things in Drive, you can go to All Drive Data Included. And that brings you to a list of all your folders in Google Drive. So if I uncheck this box for including all the files, and then I deselect, I can now go through and pick just the folders that I want to keep. And in this example, I don't want to make too big of an archive, so I'm just going to go to that test folder that I showed you just a moment ago. So I've checked the test folder, and I'm going to click OK. Now, you have a choice as to what format these files come in, because this does not make you a new Google account. It has to download these files. And so by default, it puts them in Microsoft Office format. So the Google Docs become .docx, forms become spreadsheets, spreadsheets become Excel, presentations become PowerPoint, things like drawings stay in a drawing format called JPEG. So you can change these formats if you like. So if you don't want your documents to become .docs, you can make them PDFs. If you don't want your JPEGs, you can make them PDFs. But keep in mind, if you want these to retain functionality, you'll want to keep them in the Office format. Now, once that's set, I'm going to scroll to the bottom and click Next Step. So now I choose the file type, frequency, and destination. So by default, it's going to send you a download link via email. So it takes a little while for this download to prepare, but then it's going to email you when it's ready. And then I would keep it on frequency, export once. So you're going to do this one time and then export it. The file type you want to keep .zip. That's a compressed archive that can be opened on any computer. And you can also choose what size your download is going to be. Now, 2 gigabytes seems big, but if you have a lot in your Google Drive, it may be more than 2 gigabytes. So if that's the case, if it has to compress it down and it's still more than 2 gigabytes, it's going to give you 2 separate zip files. So it's going to spread your exports into multiple files. But you can make this larger, but you get to have problems after 2 gigabytes. So I'm going to keep it at 2. And then you click Create Export. As I said, this can take a while. So at this point, you're going to want to pause and wait and just come back in a bit and see when it's done. Remember, it will send you an email when it is finished. So we're going to take a little break and come back. So we're back, and you'll notice I have an email that says Google Download. My Google Archive is ready. So I can now go do one of two things. I can go manage my archives, and I'll go show you what that looks like. This will give you a list of the different archives you tell Google to create. And that's useful because you may have more than one, so that way you can keep track of them. They keep them from a certain amount of time, and then they're deleted. So you can download it from here, or you can simply click Download Archive from here in your email. Now, it's going to ask you to verify who you are by typing in your Google password. And then it's going to take you to the screen to allow you to download it, and will actually start that download automatically. Now, that download is a zip archive. So when I open it up, I'll show you the folder. It's going to be a folder called Takeout. And in that folder, it will have the different services you selected. Remember, I just did Drive. And in that Drive folder, it will have the folders or folder that you brought. Now, my folder, you remember, had a Google Doc. That's been converted to a DocX. It had a PDF, which remains a PDF. It had a Google Drawing, which turns into a JPEG. It had a Google Sheets, which turns into an Excel spreadsheet. And it had a PowerPoint, it had a Google Slides, which turns into a PowerPoint. Now, the best thing you probably would want to do is take this archive, go to, on your home computer, open it up, and then upload it to Google. Because then it will take all those file formats and you'll be able to open those back up in your private Google account. Just be aware, while our GCS Google accounts are unlimited in their storage space, your private Google account will not be. So you'll notice I've got 141 gigabytes. That would not fit in a private Google account. You would have to buy extra storage. But other than that, that's about it. That's how you are able to use Google Takeout to download your data.